If it's virtual child pornography, is it a crime? Is infidelity cause to divorce? And is there anything wrong with public officials attending strip clubs? The Friday Night Roundtable, up next on BET Tonight. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ed Gordon. It's the age-old question, should you stay if your partner cheats? We'll ask our panel. Also, police raided an upscale strip club in New Jersey last month. Now it seems the club owner and his employees say that the mayor of Newark has been a patron. Is there anything wrong with that? But first, on Tuesday, the Supreme Court struck down several provisions of the Child Pornography Prevention Act of 1996. In a 6-3 vote, the High Court ruled that computer-generated child pornography is free speech. If no actual children are involved, there are no victims. Should virtual kiddie porn be protected under free speech? We'll ask our panel tonight. First, rapper and radio personality Monie Love, best known for her song, Monie in the Middle. She can now be heard on The Weekend on New York's new hip-hop and R&B station 105.1. Fanatic, music producer and writer. He's worked with such artists as Lil' Kim, Will Smith, and Biggie. He also wrote and co-produced Heaven Can Wait from Michael Jackson's latest album. Next, actress Persia White. She currently stars as the free-spirited Lynn on the UPN sitcom Girlfriends. We should also note she's working on her first album. Maybe she can hook up. And finally, Terry Williams, director of new business development for Persia Brothers, Inc. The company is a youth marketing and advertising agency based in New York. They also do career management. One of their clients, the beer men of What's Up fame. All right, folks, thanks very much. Appreciate it. Let's talk a little bit about the idea of kiddie porn on the internet. That is a huge problem, but the Supreme Court says if it's virtual, it's okay. Anybody buy that?
Oh, that's sick. In a nutshell. Yeah, I mean, of course it's not okay. They would protect themselves in a heartbeat. I mean, virtual killing of cops in video games is practically illegal. I mean, virtual bombing of buildings and police stations wouldn't be legal. But, you know, kiddie porn is. I think that's sad.
Is this something new that there's just come out, this virtual porn thing?
Well, what they're suggesting is now, I guess, pedophiles and those who spread that material are trying to get around the law. And the suggestion is if we don't use real children and they're doing it in a virtual way, you cannot use kids and make them virtual. You can't take true children and do it, but their suggestion is if it's virtual, it's okay.
I think it's okay. I mean, if you think about it, here in New York City, I don't know, I think it was last year, Giuliani was trying to smash some type of art exhibit that was like, had some type of religious thing, but it was like desecrated or was put out in a bad way. It's creativity, it's freedom of speech. And if you take that away, then you're taking away America. And you just look at it like,
isn't freedom of speech.
No, but you got to think about it. When you're in New York City, I remember when I first came to New York City, it was like about 5 or 6 years ago, and there was like, you could drink on the street, you were allowed to smoke in the Central Park and Washington Square Park. There were a lot of freedoms that now have been cut back. Like if you go to Central Park in the middle of the park.
Hurting children is not a freedom. I'm sorry, I have to interrupt because that is not a freedom.
Take the Supreme Court stance, and what their suggestion is that there is no child hurt in this because there is no child.
Yeah, but people are acting out and visualizing. That is not healthy. I mean, do any of you have children? Yeah. Would you want your child to be at all visualized by one of these perverts? I mean, okay, it looks a little different, but they're looking at your children visualizing.
No, but and again, let me make sure that we understand. Let me make sure we understand the distinctions. They could not take, for instance, my daughter's picture and make her virtual. They could not do that. They have to start from scratch and create a virtual child. So with that being known, Monie, do you buy it?
Totally, absolutely, 150% not. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm a connoisseur of porn, but kiddie porn, like
Let's go to a porn connoisseur.
Great. Kind of taking that over the top.
All right, well, let me ask you then, what Terry was bringing up, where do you draw the line? Where do you say, you know what, we can regulate this, but we can't regulate that? And are you at all concerned if they regulate this, then the next thing is that, you know, well, you know what, we're not going to let you look at virtual women, or we're not going to let you, as you suggested, blow up buildings, have shootouts, etc.
Where I have trouble with the whole thing is that it's like I'm caught between a rock and a hard place, because although I totally disagree with that, I am skeptical about you know, then the question becoming, well then, where do we draw the line? Are we gonna come into the music industry and start dictating to you what images you can put in your videos and not? You know what I mean? And then I start getting afraid and testy, or come into TV and say, well, you know, on your TV show, there's certain scenes that we think we may have to cut because it's insinuating so-and-so. You know what I mean?
Right, but don't you
I'm
think
worried about
sort
that.
of is...
I think that is totally sick. I
Right.
don't like
Yeah,
it at
it
all.
is.
But I'm
when it
worried
comes to
about
children,
that one factor.
that's where we draw the
Yeah,
line.
it's
I mean,
gotta be some type of
universally,
regulation
you know,
somewhere.
just with children.
You know.
Well, then,
You know what I mean?
I'll buy that.
That's my point. And my point is, like, you talk about the music industry, right? You're talking about the lyrics and the censorship and so forth. I mean, when do parents start taking responsibility for their kids? If it's in the terms of distribution of the porn,
I would like to think that parents are taking responsibility for that as we
and I
speak.
want to go into an adult store to buy a porn which
Right.
is animated with some children in it, that's my prerogative. Now, if you're talking about putting it on network TV, then okay, then we can talk a little bit. But in terms of like trying to censor someone to say they can't create something that came from their imagination, whether it be little kids or
Right.
monsters or whatever else,
Right.
then we have problems.
I have
Do
to
they
go
sell
with
this
Persia
in the
on that.
stores now? You can buy this.
No.
Oh, okay.
I have
I'm
to go
just
with
saying.
Persia.
Well, I don't know.
I'm like,
I
leave
don't know.
the kids
Yeah,
alone.
not to be honest with you.
Leave the kids alone.
We should ask you. You've been rolling around.
Yo,
I mean, I'm
Like,
in the
look,
hot
look at
lad
Japanese
tail
music, like
section,
the
so I
hardcore.
never make it down there to that. But I mean, that's
All
kind
right,
of sick
before
to
we
me.
leave this slippery slope, though, let me ask, Persia, since you were the one that most adamant about it, and it seems like you don't want to look at the side of, as Monie was suggesting, the slippery slope. Again, just staying with the devil's advocate argument, if I go draw a little child, and granted, we all, I think, agree it's a sick mentality.
Right.
But if I draw a little child that has no likeness to anyone that we know of, you're saying even that's the case, that's not free speech, you just don't have it.
I think you should leave children out of it. I think that's where you just draw the line. I mean, if you draw you humping this little child, there's something wrong with you, and you shouldn't be legal. Just keep that stuff hidden.
Because
and
it's
hopefully,
hopefully you end up
you
somewhere
know,
else at the end
let
of
it
the
be
day.
legal. Maybe you'll get busted, maybe you won't. But Jesus,
We're
don't
not
make that
talking
legal.
R. Kelly here. We're talking like little kids.
Little kids, you know.
Anyway.
We can't keep, I swear to God, we've done this show for the last month and a half, and poor R. Kelly gets mentioned every show. All right, we're going to take a break here. We'll switch gears. Cheating. Is it a cause for divorce?
14 to me.
Talk about that in just a minute.
I have a young lady that has been extremely helpful, and I'm just so fond of her. But there were two. I thought they were one and the same.
They get us mixed up a lot. We are always mistaken for each other throughout the store.
The attitudes are so close, it's very easy to recognize it as one person.
Double the courtesy, double the smile.
You always look for that familiar face. It makes you feel good to shop with someone like that.
These people are trained to do only one thing: service Ford, Lincoln, and Mercury vehicles better than anyone else. Quality Care service technicians undergo extensive company training. They'll work for you on Saturdays and at fair prices, like a Motorcraft oil and filter change for only $21.95. See the specialists who deliver Quality Care auto service only at Ford, Lincoln, and Mercury dealerships.
Every kid deserves a cell phone. It's the one and only Crest Spin Brush. Spins while it brushes for superior clean. And for under $6, it'll have parents everywhere making this call. Crest Spin Brush, a better spin on clean.
Hey. What's that?
Morning mix?
Chex Pieces, cranberries, raisins. You know, I had an idea to invent something like this.
Really? Was it as good as your idea for the remote control toaster?
Much better.
Well, this has fruits and nuts.
I had fruits and nuts, too. I had a different name, though. Dave's Good Stuff.
Morning Mix, a grab-and-go bag of crispy Chex cereal with sweet raisins, tangy cranberries, and almonds, all mixed together.
How long did it take you to think that one up?
Morning Mix from Chex, breakfast to go.
I pull my socks up because we take that wide shot, you know. All right, we're going to switch gears here. Fanatic has been instructed to calm down if y'all missed the first segment. So, you know, he's been instructed. It's an age-old question, and here it is again. Is cheating cause for divorce, or does better or worse include adultery? Well, one of the reasons that the the crew brought it up this week, is Sam Jackson, who we had on the show this week, and his wife were very forthcoming in an article of Essence magazine about infidelity
Sam was cheating.
in
He was cheating on his wife.
in their marriage.
Mess.
What of that thought? And typically you hear different thoughts from men and women, but I'll throw it out there. Is it cause to let go?
Yes.
No.
No, she got to go.
She gotta go.
She gotta
All
go.
right, amen.
She gotta
One
go.
time?
No, don't do that.
One
Don't,
time.
you're gonna
One time.
regret that.
And
One time,
typically,
anytime.
and let's be honest. Typically, for men, it is if she cheated, our
That's
egos
why
are
I
such
said that.
that she's
That's
got to
why I
go.
said that to
And
you.
women typically, if you have this discussion, most of them will say, well, you know, if he cheated once, it's almost, we expect it once.
Right.
I'll take him back, but he better not do it
Depends
again.
on how good he is in bed, really.
I always
kidding.
tell, I'm not married.
No, she's not.
If he sucks,
No, she's
she
not.
can have him. But if he's good, the woman's gonna go off.
Would you, though, seriously, would you, if you were cheated on once, say, for all of what we have, straighten yourself out?
I'd break up.
Would you really?
I mean, thou shalt not commit adultery. I believe that you shouldn't. I believe it says something about the relationship. I mean, it's sad that it got to that point without you ever working things out, but I mean, it's a big sign, a big
So we're
indicator.
talking about marriage here, not
Marriage,
just
not a
We're talking
relationship.
about marriage.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's a hard one,
definitely.
isn't it? It's
She's
like-
got to go.
I don't
See,
know.
but this is
I
my
think
thing.
it
My
really
thing-
depends on the circumstance. It really depends on the circumstance,
Well,
and
clearly,
it really
if
depends on the
children are
relationship.
involved, if there are other
Exactly.
issues
You know
involved,
what I mean? Because
that
that's what I'm
complicates the
saying.
picture.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, maybe if it's like newlyweds or people that were married and have no children, and there's no, you know, it's just them two. Maybe
yeah, you
it's something
probably
like
have
that.
an issue, though, if it's newlyweds.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But
Come to
this
think
is
of
my
it, but-
thing. Even if you have kids, if a couple stays together and they're unhappy, that's going to affect your kids.
Yeah.
So I think I don't think that's an excuse. But then the other thing is, if my partner really loves me and you cheated on me, don't let me know. Be good at what you do. But if you let it slip out like that, that means you really didn't care at all. One, because you cheated, and two, because you allowed
What if
me
you
to
got
find
busted,
out.
Oh, that is
Well, they told
What if you got busted? What if you were sloppy? What if you were
If I
sloppy?
was stopping it, I need to get the boot too. I need to break
gotta be
camp.
kidding
Suppose they
me.
confided you and told you.
You would
and they
prefer
just told you.
for your
No, they
partner.
can-
You would, let me get this straight. You would prefer. Sorry. You would prefer
Yeah.
for your partner not to tell you that she was cheating on you.
If she's not cheating on me on a continuous basis and it was just a one-time hit, I don't need to. Excuse my
You know
French.
what? You don't
I don't need to
Let's
know.
bleep that one
If
out.
it's,
Can I tell
if
you
it's like
something?
one time and like, hey, you know, I was drunk, blah, 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 this
me tell you
happened, it was
something.
one time, they came to me
Let
and
me tell you something. The manner in which you find things out, sometimes it leads to what you decide to do after that. If somebody walks up to you on the street
life
and
too
tells you-
Pollyanna? Do we make life too Pollyanna to assume that this shouldn't go on? I mean, most creatures are not monogamous, frankly.
Right.
And society
I mean, they're not. They're not.
Society has jacked it up today too, because it's like everything sex on TV, in the streets. You go hang out in the village for a couple of weeks. I don't know if you could keep it together.
my thing is, if
Theoretically,
you're
I think that's how things should be. You know what I mean? Man meets woman, woman meets man. They get together, they stay together, and they share everything with each other. Period. And in theory, that would
Do we
just be
give too
perfect,
much
but
to the
it
act of
doesn't happen
sex
like
in that it really is our ego more than anything
No,
that
it's
gets
ethics,
involved,
it's
or do you think
honesty.
it's an emotional
I don't
aspect?
think it's anything to
Because
do
men
with
and women,
sex.
I think, too, look at it differently. For men, I think it's more of an
Absolutely.
ego issue
Right.
than it is an emotional issue
Yeah.
when you talk
I
about
definitely
sex.
agree.
Well, just the thought of another man with your woman.
The movie,
See,
Best
here come
Man.
the what's
If you-
good for
no,
the,
but
what's
it's
good
true,
for the
though.
goose
But
is
it's-
good
but
for the
it's true,
gander
though.
theory right here.
If you remember the movie Best
Here it
Man, all he could see was that.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't an emotional thought.
Yeah,
He just
yeah.
saw,
It's a
and the
visual.
cat is always good.
And you keep seeing it over and over again in the back of your mind, your woman. Think about all the things that you do with her, and she's doing it with the next cat.
But the woman
I'm not
should,
feeling that.
but the woman should take the man back and should not be having these thoughts.
Yeah, but he's putting her life at risk. I don't know. I think
Exactly.
it's so unethical is the issue. It's not the sex. It's the idea that you broke a bond. Just don't make the commitment if you're not ready. Just don't get married, you know?
And does that change as years go on? I mean, again, the idea, it's easy to say, don't break the bond, but we're seeing today's society, 50% of those who marry end in divorce.
Yeah, the divorce
the idea
rate.
that
Very high.
The romance does
But
go
that's not
out.
from cheating. Those divorces aren't resulting because of cheating. That's usually due to financial
Well, we don't
problems.
know
and
their number.
Statistics are-
Infidelity is part of that. You can't say that it's not. I mean, infidelity is certainly part of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But
It's not solely that by any means.
That's something really interesting. You see couples that stay together, and they know they both have their little side partners, but they stay together maybe because what Monie said, because of kids, the financial aspects of things, and that's the realization they come to. So
Well, there
I
are
think
some
if you're
people
really
who
trying to be
suggest that
contemporary about it, then you deal with the situation.
They weren't like screwy little kids.
There are
The
some
kids were
people who
okay.
suggest that that's okay, that's what helps a
you look
marriage,
at
and if you
most-
can live through that, that
Right.
you know, occasionally you go on and have your little thing, and
You
I'll
look at
do
all the
mine.
old school relationships, our grandparents and stuff like that.
Together for
Let me
years.
tell you something. It's crazy when you get older and you find
you
out that your
understand what that was
grandfather
about.
had a side chick
Yeah.
or something
wild.
like that.
I'm from the
That's
South,
right.
so that's normal.
But I'm just
But
saying,
my
you
whole
don't
point
realize
is
these
that
things
don't
until
get
you
involved in a
older.
situation that you didn't want to be in. If you, after 5, 6 years down the road, you decide that, hey, I'm not really feeling that person, then break up.
No, that's too
No,
distant.
that is.
But
That is very clear.
but that again depends on where you are, because if you have
Exactly.
children, that's a
I'm
whole
thinking of
other
that, like,
thing.
that's making the whole
No,
thing fall
I don't
too
think that's a
distant.
whole different thing.
Well-
It's like if people change, nothing in life
Yes,
stays the same. It's
right.
constant change, right? So your relationship and marriage all has to change and grow with it. And if
Right.
it doesn't, then you got to make changes.
If it
That
doesn't-
change
All right,
means
if
we
it
got to
doesn't,
break
you
up,
have
then
to
we break
work
up.
for it.
All
If
right,
it
got to
doesn't,
stop you
you gotta
here.
work for
When
it.
we return, if you're a public figure, particularly an elected one, should you have a private life? We'll talk about that in just a moment.
This program is brought to you by the NEA, the nation's leading advocate for children in public education.
The equations weren't sinking in.
Kevin was getting frustrated.
It was so confusing.
Miss Blair noticed right away Kevin needed extra help. As teachers, that's our job.
She knew how to work with him.
We worked together until he understood.
I feel smarter. Hey, I am.
America's teachers, making public schools great for every child.
Kevin always had the potential.
But it's teachers like Miss Blair who bring it out.
Thanks, Miss Blair.
Can you give me back my life? Can you give me that?
USA Today, the Wall Street Journal, the Los Angeles Times, the Washington Post, and Time Magazine are all talking about Changing Lanes, the #1 movie in America. Joe Siegel says it's a terrific suspense thriller with an excellent cast. Roger Ebert calls it one of the best movies of the year. 4 stars. It will leave you breathless. And Ebert and Roper give it 2 very big thumbs up. Changing Lanes. Rated R. Now playing.
Whenever we share a bowl of Olive Garden's fresh salad, someone says, "You gotta get me the recipe for this dressing. I've never tasted anything so good." Good thing you get as much as you want with the unlimited soup, salad, and breadsticks lunch. Olive Garden. When you're here, you're family.
So you're feeling all moved in yet?
Getting there. So you guys been in your home for what now? About
a year. We almost didn't get it though. We had a problem with our credit.
Us too.
And our interest rate is really high.
Yeah, well, with us they want to tack on all these extra points. Lucky we figured it out in time. You guys probably figured it out a lot sooner than us, though, I'm sure.
Get the facts before you borrow. Call for a free guide from the Fannie Mae Foundation.
What's that?
A fridge.
A fridge?
It was a great bargain.
We already have a fridge.
Not in the family room.
Must be Sears days. Look for our lowest prices of the season. Get 0% financing on all refrigerators and free delivery on all Kenmore appliances over $3.99. Find the brands, the choices, and our lowest prices of the season. Sears days. Where else?
Timely issues. Topics that matter. Insight into your world. Lead story. Sunday at 11 a.m.
Imagine if we at Malibu took life this seriously.
We should have come early. Now we never find the space. You just missed one there. I'll never get in there. Look, that man is going. Speed up. Take a left, take a left. A little bit too close. Oh, you are useless. Hey, I've been waiting hours for that space. You complicated little man.
If we took life as seriously as this, then we'd never have invented Malibu. It's seriously easygoing.
There is your ticket. Is your mother proud of you?
Many faces, one voice. Revive your spirit with the all-new Celebration of Gospel 2002. Coming February 19th at 9 p.m. on BET.
The Detroit Institute of Arts presents the work of Jacob Lawrence now through May 19th. His vibrant paintings chronicle the hopes and struggles of African Americans during significant moments in American history. For information, www.dia.org.
Last month in Newark, New Jersey, a police raid was held on a strip club. The city's mayor, Sharp James, called the establishment a den of iniquity. But now the club owner and employees are saying the mayor attended a show at the club. Here's the question. Should we be concerned about the private lives of public officials? Let me note, though, that the mayor suggests that he's not going to dignify, these are his words, or that comment or accusation with a response. We should also know he's in a very heated race and there are barbs back and forth as whether camps are going to the strip club. Now, that being said, the bigger question is, should public officials be allowed to have a private life? If it's deemed not illegal, obviously, should officials be able to go?
They caught him up in the club?
No, they did not catch him up in the club.
So how do they know he's been in there?
Well, the club owner says that he's been there, and
he's visited there.
And they say, though, that he was only there once. He had a Snapple, and he didn't stay very long. But the bigger question, is, if a mayor wants to go to a strip club, I came up in Detroit, Michigan, under Coleman Young, who was having babies at 70, and you know he would tell you to go to hell. These are his words. You know, he said, "I'm single. I'm gonna do what I want during my time." So the question is, should a public official be allowed?
I agree with him. Absolutely. I mean, then you're going to start policing, like, suppose he wants to go buy some porno and watch it in his house.
We back on the porno?
You can't do that? I mean, but it's the same thing. I mean, it's still back to skin. I mean, you act like, I mean, I think as a leader of a city or some people, it's like, you don't sit there and look at somebody and say, oh, they're picture perfect. Everything they do is the best.
You're right.
And they're like gods or whatever.
You're a role model.
But they're not. They're real people. So if I look at someone who's a leader and say, you know what, this person's real, I can relate to this person because they have faults too, then I'm like, okay.
So do you have to weigh as a public official, okay, should I, as Fanatic says, suggest the idea of I need to be a role model for the community, or should I relate to the brother who's in the club and get his vote?
No. You should do that in your own home. He should, if he wants to look at porn or have escorts, he should do that at home, you know, where nobody can see in the public eye what he's doing. I'm sure there's a lot of things going on behind closed doors.
And again, we're noting, just so I don't get a call from Mayor James, we're not suggesting he was or wasn't. The larger issue is should public officials be allowed this? The idea of having what about having a private life? I mentioned Coleman Young.
That bothers me.
Or Marion Barry, who they used to get on for going to a woman's house at 2:30 a.m. You know.
Yeah, but what, some 17 or 18-year-olds sticking dollar bills in some strippers' G-strings a little different than visiting some woman. I mean, I don't know. I think that it's not ethical, and I think it's sort of a responsibility you take as a public official. It's just like a priest takes an oath. I mean, everybody has their responsibility. Just don't take that position if you can't handle it.
Now, these are just accusations, or they actually caught him up in there?
Let me ask you this. So how you look at it like this? If you're a professional basketball player like Charles Barkley, and you're a mayor of Newark, are they the same? Are you still looking at both of them as leaders?
No, an entertainer and a public official, and we depend on him to be honest and ethical as possible.
But a basketball player is looked upon as being role models. A musician is looked upon as being role models. So is a public official.
Not making public official decisions.
So Monie, is it a question of ethics in the sense of then you have to determine whether it's ethical to go to a strip club? It's not illegal.
Let me tell you something. I really have no interest in I don't even get it. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't like to talk about something I don't know about.
And I think the bigger question here for them is that they did close this club allegedly because there was question of whether it was a cover for a brothel. So maybe that made it even a deeper question.
See, that's deeper.
Well, that's deep. It might have had something to do with the election, though, too.
It certainly, certainly has something to do with the election.
Brings erection.
Why was I?
I think that's his next. I think that's his next song. All right, we're gonna take a break here. When we come back, a surprise topic for you. We'll be back in just a moment.
Election brings erection.
If you have any questions or comments about the show or any suggestions about a topic or guest you'd like to see, email us. You can reach us at BET.com and then click on the news section.
Can I get life insurance at my age, in my health?
I'd like to leave my loved ones with a little something when I'm gone, but I'm afraid I'm too old to get life insurance.
If you're like these nice folks and thought life insurance after 45 was impossible to get or impossible to afford, I've got good news. If you're 45 to 79, Physicians Life guarantees you up to $10,000 of permanent modified whole life insurance, designed to help your family with the expenses they will face. You cannot be turned down because of your health. You can buy this insurance policy if you're 45 to 79 and you're insured for life, no questions asked. Just $1 pays for your first full month of protection. After that, you can continue at a monthly renewal rate that can never go up. Plus, your coverage can never be canceled because of your age or health. Easy to get and easy to afford. Now let me tell you why this protection is so important. All of us someday may leave behind expenses for our loved ones to pay. There's no escaping it. These expenses can easily add up to thousands of dollars. You know, some people even expect the government to take care of these expenses. But the fact is, Social Security currently pays a death benefit of just $255, and only if you qualify. That's why I urge you to take a look at this coverage. It's one sure way you can help leave your loved ones with dollars instead of debts. I'm proud to be their paid spokesman. This is one phone call your loved ones will be thankful for later. So call right now.
To get your free information kit directly by mail, call toll-free 1-800-253-5300. There's no cost or obligation. You're just calling for information. That's 1-800-253-5300.
We're here when you need us. Physicians Life.
Durango. It not only hauls almost 4 tons, it's the only SUV with a V8 for around 23 grand.
Oh, great. Stuck behind another one of these.
Grab Dodge's 7-100 powertrain pledge. Ford, GM, Toyota, and Honda don't match it.
400 years in the future.
He's here. That's what he's for. He's
evil.
It's okay. He just wanted his machete back.
Gets an upgrade.
Been modified. You guys might want to run.
Jason X rated R starts Friday, April 26th.
You love your wood floors. So does Swiffer WetJet. Only WetJet has a super absorbent pad and a controllable jet spray of cleaning solution. Wood floors are clean and dry in a wink. Swiffer WetJet. Member of the National Wood Flooring Association.
All right, our final topic. A judge in New York State has ordered a mother to quit smoking in her home and car because her son complained, 13-year-old, that he didn't want to go over her house. There's a divorce situation because she smokes. So she will lose visitation if she continues to smoke around the child. Right or wrong?
Is she smoking weed?
Yeah, what is she?
No. She's smoking cigarettes.
If it's crack, take the baby away. But if it's
He's not a baby. He's 13, but it's cigarettes.
Wow.
That doesn't even belong in a court.
That's crazy.
That doesn't even belong in a court.
My mom
That's
smoked,
a family
and she
issue.
Exactly. My mom smoked, and she just made sure she didn't smoke around us, and that's just an internal thing with the family.
But they're suggesting, the judge is suggesting she can't even smoke, I guess, because residual smoke in the house at all if she wants visitation. I mean, look, let's be honest. Old school, our parents, mine, would have said, hey, you know what? You don't like it? See ya. I mean, does this bring the court into the home a little bit more than we want?
Yes, it's ridiculous. That's why I'm sitting here cracking up. It's absolutely ridiculous that the court has no business. You cannot cook pork for your child. Come on.
Right.
You know, what's next?
What about the idea of the child's right?
I don't know. That's kind of hard. If he's 13, he doesn't want to be around it. He probably shouldn't be forced to. I mean,
but the thing is, it's like you're saying, like, the child is going to be right underneath mom, like, and she's blowing smoke right in his face. She could be in a totally different part of the house, blowing it out the fan, and he could be up in this room or on the computer or whatever the case may be. But for them to go and start dictating based on the child is ridiculous. You know, next thing you know, the child will be like, well, like you said, I don't eat pork. Mom got all of a sudden make me a vegetarian.
Well, I agree with that. I'm just kidding.
No, you don't.
I'm vegetarian, so I'm like, yeah.
I mean, even as a vegetarian, I mean, just the fact that I use that as an example. I mean, the point The point I'm making is, you know what I mean? There's some places the court just.
But you bring up the idea of, in your mind, it might be a waste of.
Yeah, why waste tax dollars on something like that?
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Next thing you know, the kid be like, you know what, Mom? I've got to go to McDonald's 3 times a week.
I don't know. Maybe we'll find out in a couple years if smoking is that dangerous. I mean, if if they find out that it is that cancerous.
It is. It really is.
We'll send that money to the
smoke
mayor.
around your kids and stuff like that. But you know, my issue is just the court doesn't belong in the house.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much. Pleasure. Fun night tonight. I appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in and watching once again a crazy roundtable session on Friday night. On Monday, Destiny's Child will be here. And on Tuesday, Mos Def and Jeffrey Wright will be here to talk about their venture onto Broadway. For all of us here on the staff of BET Tonight, I'm Ed Gordon. Have a good weekend.